Greetings, my friends, and welcome back. Rush Limbaugh, the EIB Network, and the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. It's great to have you here as we are beginning the week in Los Angeles. Here in our super-secret bunkerized location. The telephone number, if you want to be on the program, is 800-282-2882. And the email address, lrushbaugh@eibnet.com. So over the weekend, food stamp credit cards went down due to a computer glitch caused by a power outage. And you know the NSA is having the same problem. They're losing data, which some people are not unhappy about, at some of their new installations because of power glitches. So the cards did not show any limits on purchases. And when these EBT cards, the food stamp cards, when they don't show any limits, the unscrupulous food stamp users are going to go out there and take advantage. And they did. Did it surprise anybody? It's not that they weren't able to buy anything. It's that there was no limit on anything, and they all went to town. Now, in one sense, folks, I mean, you can understand it. You've got an economy in the tank. 90 million Americans not working. All they've got is what they get from the government. They don't have any hope of providing for themselves, and many of them don't even think they should anymore. And so they've just been conditioned, and they're very smart about how it is they get what they get, and they see no limits, and they just go to town on it, and they get a bit of run on Walmart stores. And you have to wonder, why would Walmart go ahead and ignore the limits and allow use of the cards when there were no limits on them? And obviously the answer there was customer service. You don't want to make the customers mad. You don't want to make the government mad. Nobody wants to make the government mad at you. If the government causes a problem, well, okay, we'll deal with it. But I guess if they feared if they enforced limits, even when there are no limits on the cards, I'm sure they feared rioters would destroy the stores. They feared the government would come down hard on them for being mean to people. I mean, look at so this is the basis for a federal program. So we've got, well, I don't know how many people on food. Half the country, 48%, is on food stamps. And the government advertises for more. We have 90 million Americans not working. They become, what is it? 48 or 49 million. Yeah, 48 or 49 million on food stamps. And more all the time because the government's advertising for it. And we have 90 million people not working, not knowing where they're going to next eat or anything. And so they're very sophisticated. Once the limits are missing from the cards, it's Katie bar the door, let's go to town. And it just, I guess what bothers me about this, folks, if I could somehow express it, look at how tenuous our hold on order is. Look at how narrow the thread that everything is kept in order and civil, if you will. And look at how much of that is dependent on government. And it all relates to this Obamacare business, because this has yet to happen in Obamacare, and it's going to happen to Obamacare, and it's going to happen a lot. There are people, despite what you think, there are all kinds of people out there who still think that Obamacare is just another food stamp. Just show up with whatever they have, their card, and they get treated, and it isn't going to cost them anything. And they're not going to have insurance. They don't know any of this. And they're going to end up in the system, and one day the system's going to get a glitch, and there isn't going to be any medical service available. And look at how, I can't think of another word to put it. Look at how totally incapable so many people are of taking care of themselves. And then to add insult to this, we have an entire political party who likes that and then promotes that and tries to increase that number of people who are totally dependent on. I remember when I worked for the Kansas City Royals. And it's just a little microcosm of a story. Nothing bad happened, but there was, in the off-season, various teams did their winter sports dinners where they gave awards to great players in the previous season. They'd attract the players in. They'd sell tickets to the dinner. There's a way to keep interest in baseball alive during the winter. And one year, a Royals player was invited to go to one of these things in Minnesota or Milwaukee. And he called lost in O'Hare. He didn't know how to change planes. Did not know what to do. And had to be walked. We had to tell us what the sign said. Then he had to be steered down a particular hallway to the terminal, to the gate. Didn't know what a gate number was. Because when you travel with a baseball team, you get on a bus at the stadium. The bus takes you to the airplane. When you get to the hotel, the traveling secretary is there with your room key. When you don't check in, you don't do incidentals or any of that till you leave, and half the time you skip out on those. That was just it was a microcosm lesson. This guy had never made his own way through an airport. Well, here we have people who don't feed themselves. And when a glitch happens, something goes wrong, look at the chaos. Look at the near riot potential that existed here. Now, it bothers me. I could easily say, it doesn't affect me. I'm never going to be in that situation. I couldn't care less. Those people. It bothers me because it bothers me that this is happening in the United States of America. This is not the kind of thing that should happen here. Not to the degree that it's happening. Not in the level of the masses of people that it's happening. Shelves in Walmart stores in Spring Hill and Mansfield, Louisiana, were reportedly cleared Saturday night when the stores allowed purchases on food stamp cards, even though they were not showing limits, because a frenzy ensued. But our hold on order here is just by the thinnest of threads. And you see how easy a mass riot could occur. Now you move this forward to the Obamacare plan or program.